and it's all taken care of on that side. That's why I kind of have this one minimized in this window, just so I know like there's something else that I should be expecting in the back.
Who do I pay?
Oh, hey, John. Sorry, we're in training with the. Hey, John. Can you ring her up, please?
So operationally, it's pretty simple and straightforward. You know, the maintenance will take up most of the rest. But any questions on that before we move on to the maintenance part?
No, that one's all pretty much the same.
Cool. Awesome. All right.
Minus the dispensing part, but that was pretty self-explanatory.
Nice. Cool. So maintenance. So first and foremost, you know, there's only really two screens you'll be in. There's this home screen, which has your dispense queue, which will house all the colors that you want to shoot. And then there is this canister button here. If we click that, this will kind of take us to a new screen that shows us our canisters, their current levels, and any actions that we need to do.
Oh, so it keeps nice. It keeps track of the levels and everything for you.
It does, as
How
long
accurate.
as we tell it. Yeah. So and it will get to, you know,
Okay.
as we fill up. If we tell it we fill it up, then yeah, it'll be accurate.
Okay.
If we're dispensing colors, it'll detract from it accurately.
So it's not doing off of weight; it's doing based off of how many
What we tell
squirts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we fill and we forget to tell it a few times,
I
over
gotcha.
time it'll be done.
I got you.
That's why I want my color and sensors. You know, I like this. So yeah, we lift up this lid. We take out this shelf because that's what's kind of locking this in right now. There's this little notch on the end which it locks into in the middle. It's just plastic though, so we want to make sure we're not like slamming it down on that or it'll break off.
Okay.
And that's the only thing that really secures it. in
Okay.
place. So yeah, there's manufacturing. This will rotate 180 degrees one way. It should stop in the middle here somewhere, and then same thing going the other way. So we have 13 colorants total with this line. There are these two, but most ACEs don't stock this colorant. So the transoxide colors, I think it's like for oil-based stuff. So
Okay.
probably 1 in 10 stores I see will have this colorant on hand because they have oil products. But I haven't seen it here or at other
Okay.
stores as well. But they are there just in case. You know, I did preload some calibration data just in case you guys do that in the future. You should be able to put that in and it be relatively accurate. But again, this is a rarity to see nowadays. So really, it's only 1 through 12 on the bottom, and then our last little 13th color up here at the top. The way that these fill, so if you look at this one here, this would be a good one. Unplug it like a phone charger, take off this cap, it's just pressed in, and then that is our canister itself. This cap is what agitates our colorant, so this thing turns, it turns this paddle assembly. So whenever we remove this fill colorant, we want to make sure we're plugging it back in, otherwise our colorant will be agitating.
Okay.
On top of that too, over time, if this begins to get really gunked up with color and it can't spin anymore, yeah, these are just little plastic tabs, so this motor will easily just flip open. So, you know, as we're filling colorant over time, usually like I would say part of a monthly or maybe even quarterly check, probably monthly to start out with.
Just seeing how flimsy they've gotten.
Yeah, just seeing how gunked up. Usually it's just, you know, if colorant here just gets gunked up over time. If we take something as simple as like a baby wipe or an alcohol wipe and just come over and kind of pick it off,
Okay.
that'll
So just keep those clears.
yeah.
Okay.
So a little bit of color won't hurt, but it's just when you start seeing it like build up and help them harden, basically. That's what you want to watch out for. But I would say, you know, the solutions I've been recommending in the past is we'll just try to fill to the side. You know how I try to target like that left paddle.
Mm-hmm.
It does introduce risk of spilling, which I think is, you know, would I rather spill and clean that up, or would I rather take a baby wipe every month? I would get the color in there, and then we can, you know, clean it after the fact. Is my recommendation. Especially for this, you know, we don't have that much working area to go with, so less work for you guys in the long term is preferred. Cool. So if we wanted to fill this color, say number 13, I'm going to come over to the canister screen here. Find number 13, there it is, R3 red oxide. We have two options. We can purge it, or we can add colorant. For purging, if any of these go red, like individually go red, I would recommend just doing a purge all. Usually, we're gonna recommend we do at least one daily purge all every day, whether you want to do it in the morning or at night. I purpose this for a purge bucket, and I did some purging here, but whatever I guess can you guys want to use. At the end of the day, the biggest part of purge or waste, getting rid of it, is we need it to harden before we can dispose of it. And so the more, I guess, liquid you have, the harder it is to get hardened. People do use like paint hardeners to get rid of their purge, but I'll leave it up to you guys, whatever you guys do here. So yeah, if any of these need to be purged individually.
So what is, just to be clear, so is it that's squirting out just a little bit of it when you purge
yes.
it, or well, that's new. So
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, I wasn't clear.
Okay.
Yeah, so because these are gravity-fed pumps and lines, so there's no, like in other machines it's piston-driven. There's something pushing the colorant out, right? Here, not really. We're really just sucking it out, basically.
So they can clog easily.
Yeah, so they can clog easily. So as long as we're purging every day, that'll minimize the risk of, especially in the tips of these nozzles, is where the most clogging or blockage will happen. So here over time, it is supposed to be under vacuum, the whole line basically, so it doesn't dry out. But air will get in wherever air gets in.
Yeah.
So part of the purge process is it'll run each of these lines and forward and reverse slowly to loosen up any potential blocks and then shoot it out.
How much roughly shoots out per purge? Like, how much of that can does it fill up?
Minuscule amount. It's like.
Oh, okay, so it takes quite a while.
Yeah, so it'll dispense out at a low speed because the pumps are variable speed. So if we shoot it higher, you're shooting up per color, right? It'll do a low speed for like half a second for every color.
Interesting. So daily though, it needs to be done. Just hit that purge all.
Yeah, daily. And again, part of my
make sure it's on there. Purge all.
Purge all.
Daily.
Yeah, in terms of like how much it uses, to fill up one of these would probably take you 30 to 45 days.
Okay.
Right now I have it halfway because there's like a solution in here that keeps it from rusting or getting gross. So most of it is just that solution.
I'm getting all that out.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, if we see any of these guys that need to be purged individually, it's probably time to purge all of them. And this button takes care of all that. You don't have to go through real quick every single one. Ideally, if we're purging all every day, we'll never have to see those guys light up red. So, if I wanted to fill this color, let's say I took my colorant can, I put it inside this adapter, put it in the shaker for about a minute on the light setting.
So it does need to be shaken before it's put in.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Or
okay.
Whether by hand or through the shaker, they need to be shaken.
Okay.
So these are a quart in capacity. So quart in, whatever. My recommendation. So if we go too slow, the colorant's gonna run down the can and then just spill down here, right? But if we go too fast, it's gonna pour over it. And this.
About a funnel.
So yeah, you could use a funnel.
But you'd have to have one per. It'd have to be individual, huh?
I mean, it's water-based, so you have to clean it every time.
Clean it, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, so once you get the hang of it, I would say trust yourself.
But basically, there's a little bit of a trick to the pour.
Yeah, just get it perfect every time.
Gotta be like a paint tender. It's a bartender.
One of those two.
Either one.
Yeah, when I was first starting out, I would usually just support it here so that I can get a steady amount of control with my wrist. So, after one or two, you'll get the hang of it. And the biggest thing is, these are all different, I guess, what's the density. So some are really watery and they'll come out really fast. Others are.
Okay, so don't expect them all to be the same either. Okay, so that makes that's a bit. You don't get that surprise. You get it.
So just memorize the different weights of the volume.
This one's loose. This one's okay.
The heavier ones will tend to, they're actually a little easier to control. The lighter ones that kind of stick together more are a little harder because sometimes they just slowly come out and then they just, But yeah, over time, any messes with this thing, again, this is all water-based colorant, so baby wipe.
We'll take it up.
Yeah. Even Clorox in a napkin will, but I think that Magic's baby wipes, those things work so great.
Oh yeah, they're buried over there somewhere,
Okay.
but we got a whole thing of them.
So once that's filled, I'm going to come back to the software because it does not know I did that unless I tell it. I'll click on that little paint bucket icon to add. They are 1 quart capacity. You know, there's still some residual color left inside of the can, so I usually go a little bit less to 0.98.
Okay, so every time we fill it, we have to manually put in what we put into it.
Yes, but
Okay.
once you put it in once, it'll save your last entry. So now, if we're only filling with 1 quart cans every time, now I don't have to do that again.
Okay.
But it's only by color. So
To do it each time.
until you run through every 13 once, yeah. That's, one of the things. We'll see here, show us on a bar that it's filled up. The capacity for these guys, it's really 2.5 quarts. I put it as a little less just because I want to avoid us overfilling. The way that the caps fit into the canisters, they push into it. So if we fill all the way to the top and we put the cap on, the whole thing's gonna be painted a new color. And I've seen that before. It's really fun. So just kind of as like a protection against that, I put it as a little less. Also, what we want to do whenever we fill colorant, we want to use the entire can. So we don't want to fill halfway, reseal it, and then put it in a shelf for 6 months.
Okay.
Not ideal,
So it doesn't have, once it's exposed to air, it should all be. Doesn't have. Okay, yeah.
Like it's not the end of the world if it stays for a month, but it's easy.
Better for it. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's good practice. Yeah. But again, whatever you guys
Just
do,
wait till it goes down, and then I don't think we're busy enough that we're gonna have to worry about.
Okay. Nice.
Like, oh man, we're not gonna be able to do it in the middle of the day.
Got like a bunch of flags coming in, right? So there's 2 levels to this. There's yellow, which is kind of a warning state. If you go below a quart, you'll be in this warning state of like, hey, you should fill up soon. Red is the half quart mark. So if you go below red, you're actually not going to be able to dispense that color. Like if you try to shoot the color, if you hit the big dispense button in the other screen, and you're in a red state, it'll ask you to fill up first before you can move on. So, it does say, hey, if you want to fill up, click this button. It'll take you automatically here, and, it shouldn't interrupt your dispense.
How much is the white packets? 10 gallon or 5 gallon?
Hmm?
5 gallon packets at the door. How much are they?
There's a tag over there, or bring the gun and scan them. There's some up here to look at the tag up there.
So yeah, if it's red, it'll make you fill up automatically. So you'll never be in a position where if you try to shoot a color but you don't have enough, it's going to miss too. As long as this is accurate. So if it thinks it has, 2 quarts of red oxide, but you only really have half quart, the machine is not going to know that. So mid-dispense, it'll basically stop.
Okay.
So starting off, it's a good bi-weekly check just to go through and verify these levels inside the machine in the canisters and just make sure they're right. The way to do that is there's a diagram here, kind of a cross section. We cut the canister in half, and here there's a paddle assembly, right, that spins to agitate the colorant. So top side, a low side. The low side can show you in quarts how many you have. So if I can count down 1, 2, 3 paddles and the colorant levels at the bottom of that 3rd paddle on the low side.
Huh. Okay, that makes sense. All right, I gotcha.
So that's there for you. Other diagrams here, kind of shows you a top-down view of the canisters and their numbering. Also for the nozzle placement here, just in case a customer comes by and rips all this out for some reason.
Yeah.
We can put them in the right order.
Paint by numbers. There you go.
The reason why is because there are 2 different size nozzles, so that you can see there's a longer one and a shorter one. The longer ones just reach over.
The thicker ones versus the.
Yeah. So, and yeah, if they're out of order and there's not enough, I guess, because they're just friction held, there's a lot of pressure in these.
I can imagine.
It'll definitely shoot out and spill over the place if it was loose. So.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. So just in case it ever happened, we got that to reset us. But yeah, coming back to the colorant screen, so if I ever needed to change these numbers, I can simply do that by just typing my number. If I have numlock on. If I don't have numlock on. Okay. Oh, you know what? I need to give you guys permissions to do that. Sorry. So, I mean, this is your machine. If you guys needed to get into the admin for it, if I can type it right, it's administrator for the user. The password is producer with a capital P. This will get you into the admin settings of the software, and from there, usually, again, this is under warranty. You can reach out to our support, and they can remote in and do whatever they need to. But if you ever needed to go in there and change the thing yourself, that's how you would do it. And I'm gonna find your permissions and allow you guys to. Two manual commands and Jesus, where is it? Direct level change. Okay. Done. All right. So now I can come in here and say, you know what, this is actually 0.94. Hit enter, it'll change. And now we're back below that one, quart mark, so now we're in a warning state.
Okay.
Regarding levels of colorant, so your 4 main used colors for this colorant line are going to be numbers 1, 2, and 11 and 12. Basically the ones that are the easiest to get to. So 1 and 2 are right there, 11 and 12 are right there. These guys, I say you're probably good to fill, fully, because they are the 4 most used colors for any paints in this colorant line. Everything else, I would recommend filling to the top only if you know you guys use it a lot. So if you don't use it a lot, leave it.
How long roughly is it okay to be in there before it's starting to jack up the system?
It's not even, it's...
Or is that not how it...
It's more so to prevent mold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen, I've seen that they do that.
And it all depends on colors. So
Okay.
in this, this colorant line, actually yellow oxide tends to, if it doesn't get used a lot,
That seems to be typical with all of them.
and then magenta. Or green.
Yellow oxide, magenta, and green.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the trouble children. Everything else kind of behaves, but if you let it sit long enough, depending on the environment, if this is temperature controlled or not, if we fluctuate between very cold and very high, like if we're in a desert or something like that, it can affect all of that. So,
Okay.
kind of a stopgap way to prevent or combat all that is just color below. And anything below a quart is relatively safe, unless it's one of those 3 problem children I mentioned. I would say check up on them every 3 months. Take a flashlight, see if there's mold. So yeah, that's why these are all kind of at that 1 quart level.
And when they, I'm sorry, real quick. When they do, if we do detect mold, do we have to completely clean it out, get it?
Yes.
It's pretty much at that point, or is that something you guys have to do, or?
It depends. I mean, it could be a warranty coverage. I think the warranty coverage for this is a year. So really, if it's affecting, like if it's leading to mistints, just report it. I would recommend reporting it as we're getting mistints, not hey we saw mold and.
Okay.
Because
Gotcha.
the mold will lead to mistints. So.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Say you're getting mistints, they'll come out and fix it. They'll send me. But after whatever warranty package is covered, if you guys wanted to maintain it on your own, what I do is I get like a poison sprayer. I fill it with warm water and basically just hand soap. So like 5 to 10 squirts of hand soap. And I come through the top and I just spray water while I'm running the pump through.
Makes sense.
So there's 2 ways you can do that, and I'm going to put this back on. So top, and I'm going to plug it back in. Not to forget to do that. These guys, since they're empty, I'm going to unplug for now, just so that the motors don't get worn out. And of course, you can steal from them over time.
There you go.
To. What was I talking about? Oh, so if you needed to purge out a bunch of color at once, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can come to Dispenser Utilities and Manual Commands Dispenser, the only option you can choose. And here you can basically do any command you want on the machine. You can turn on agitation, you can open the cap, you can run whatever circuit or color you want on this list, and forward or reverse at any speed you want. From 0 to 100, would not recommend 100, don't go past 70.
That's just the agitation?
Oh, no, this is like
Speed or-
shooting out color.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's variable speeds. If you're doing like, 5 drops, it'll be very, very slow. If you're doing, 100 ounces, it'll be very fast. But we never really go past 70, just for the health of the pump.
Yeah, whatever makes it work the best, the longest, we will do that.
So this is kind of a more advanced screen. You know, it really gets into the nitty gritty, right? If I wanted to like
Okay.
simulate, you know, getting rid of a clog, I'll go forward, reverse, forward, reverse, forward, reverse, and then I'll shoot it out whatever I want. If we're just trying to get rid of color, come down to manual formula, find that color, and then just shoot out a shit ton of it. There we go. That'll empty it out. Not
Alright.
220, probably. So the way that we read this is left of the X is ounces, right of it is shots.
Okay.
And there are 32 shots in one of these ounces. So if I want to do 21.5 ounces, I would do 21 and 16. Or 22, if I make this 32, it'll become 22.
Huh.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Be helpful if they just at least put ounces and shots.
That'd be too.
up
Yeah,
there.
that'd be too easy.
I mean, come on, there's space.
This is Windows XP, you know. Yeah, this is designed by engineers for sure.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what they're doing.
At least it's not Windows 98.
Yeah, I wasn't around in those days, so.
Yeah,
lucky
me
me.
too.
Yeah, so I would say start at like 20 is a good number. You know, what we want to avoid is it going dry and the pump still running.
Okay.
That'll definitely kill the pump.
Makes sense.
So the second you hear it, kind of sound, it'll sound different. You know, it'll sound like pretty smooth. You know, woo, and then you'll hear, and then you know it's dry.
Okay.
Again, in the first year, just call us. After that, you know, this is how you would do it. Or if you're in a pinch because you have 25 gallons to make by tomorrow, and you need to fix something, that's how you do it.
Cool.
So we covered purging. We want to do that every day. We covered how to fill and manage, and basically telling the machine what we filled it with. What else is there? We covered a few monthly and maybe bi-weekly checks, colorant levels, keeping the unused colorants relatively low, checking for mold probably every month or so in the levels. Really, you can increase or decrease the amount that you want to make those checks based off of the environment. So if you guys do have this place temperature controlled at night, it's ideal.
I don't think it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it shuts off at 6 o'clock, and I mean it doesn't get too bad. In the summer, yeah, it can get pretty warm.
Okay. Don't worry.
Or does cold affect it too?
Yeah. So there's
Okay,
a temperature
so-
range for like extreme cold to extreme heat. Extreme, this isn't again designed in UK, so they don't really know what that is. So it's like 50 degrees to like 105.
Oh, it definitely never would get 105 in here.
Okay. Cool.
That's not even. Yeah, it's definitely different. The only time that would happen is during the day and the AC is on. So.
Everyone's mad if that's the case. Yeah. I think the last time I was here was like 110, and now it's raining.
I was like, outside, yes, but if inside, we got a problem.
So it's a standard temperature range. Every colorant also has their own range, but again, Benmore is the more finicky one, along with Dunn Edwards. They tend to dry out quicker than
Okay.
something of like less quality.
In terms of storing the colorant, same deal. Keep it. So like a lot of our storage is outside. Probably should not be keeping that outside in any way, shape, or form. Any temperature
Yeah.
control. Okay.
I would say keep it in here.
Okay,
If
somewhere
you can,
in
make
here.
room in the shelving or what have you.
Okay.
Definitely don't want it exposed
You know,
outside.
I'm
Okay.
just kind of getting into it. I got my general 17 years ago. Never
So
really
that's
did anything.
Maintenance.
You know,
if I missed anything
life
else.
happened, you know. And so now I passed my
So you've already done. So
it's already
as
got
of
general.
you've set it up today,
All
so
they
it
have to do
shouldn't
is
need to be purged
take
again.
the
But
paper,
tomorrow
and
we
I
should
got my
purge it.
general back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's pretty slick.
I mean.
Considering,
Yes.
especially because we won't be here Monday.
So like I understand, yeah, like over the weekends and stuff, like some stores there are open weekends, so
And,
it's okay to like not
So
purge it for
yeah,
a couple of days.
hooked it up
Just
and
expect
pulled
come
my thread
Monday
right
it'll
now,
probably
and
be a little more clogged than usual. Oh, to fix that, I
Yeah,
stopped
yeah,
forgetting.
he's-
So
he's
if for
further
whatever
out.
reason the tips are really clogged,
Yeah, not next week. Several miles away.
so we're gonna open the cap. Easiest way to open. Oh, that's what I forgot.
Alright, you get.
Easiest way to open the cap is to go to the canner screen and click purge all. Again, there's a can sensor, so we can't purge anything unless we put a can in there. Um, so that's easy. Easiest way to open the cap is to go to the canner screen and click purge all. Again, there's a can sensor, so we can't purge anything unless we put a can in there. So this cap as well needs to be cleaned out daily, along with your purge alls.
Okay.
All this is, it's just a sponge that holds water. So over time, you know, colorant will kind of build up in here. You just want to clean out that colorant. All water-based, so we take it to the restroom, whatever, and just clean it out.
Just rinse it out of their sink. It's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Sweet.
So that, I think it makes sense to kind of bake into.
Can you open it one more time? Because I was looking
sure.
at. I don't think
Yeah.
I filmed it. I think I was just. Can you open it up?
There's a little top here. You just pick it up.
You know
Yeah,
what?
there you go.
Yeah. So
Perfect.
so
Drowning rod.
I was looking at it with my own eyes for once. And I don't think I filmed your feet.
No worries. The way it installs is, so if we look underneath the cap, there's this little like cylinder thing. That's what locks it in, and then here's the arm. So we're gonna line up that cutout with the arm. Right now, see it's like loose. We're gonna push in until it clicks.
How easy does that break?
It's actually pretty. It's so internally this thing's a piece of shit. But over to like it holds up, you know, pretty.
Okay.
Well. If I want to remove it,
How easy did you take it off? Yeah, that's what I say.
so we don't want to pull it because that's not gonna work. We just want to go straight up. Straight up, because it's held in. There's like a cylinder cutout.
No,
That
no
cylinder
switch
in
to
there.
or anything to hit. You just push up.
Yep, just push straight
Sweet.
up.
That's easy enough.
Andrew, we have a brownie one. You used to, and you-
If we do, we
be outside probably.
maybe in the trailer or. If you already searched electrical, I should say.
If we needed to clear a clog, we want to go ahead and open the cap so we can access the nozzles. You guys get one of these. Again, this can take apart the entire machine, which is great. The 2mm Allen with the little ballpoint end is the perfect tool to clear out clogs. So that'll fit perfectly into the bottom hole of the nozzle. It being a ballpoint end, it can kind of latch on anything that's clogging it up and pull it out. If
Okay.
it's flat, we're just pushing in whatever's clogged and kind of smashing it at the top here. Because that little cutout, I use that all the time whenever I need to unclog anything. So save that. That's a magic.
So this
tool.
is ours.
That's yours.
Okay.
Yes. And I think it's easier just to come down from the bottom and do it versus having to take all these out one by one and going sideways. So that's pretty much it. Cool. And then to close it again, we can undo. Close. I prefer this way for doing anything with the cap, is because it keeps it firm. There is like a clean cap operation you can do here in maintenance and like wet cap sponge.
Is that your paint mixing machine?
Yep.
The issue though is like it gets loose sometimes. So not a big fan of this guy. Plus it only gives you 5 minutes and then it'll close on you automatically. So I'll just do it first. Cool. That's all I got.
Yeah, I need
All right.